starting only.
Mm-hmm.
It's the pollution that is the challenge right now.
Pollution, yeah, I have heard that NCR
Yeah.
pollution is at
Mm.
its peak nowadays.
Every year it increases.
Yeah. Bangalore, it is pollen. So a lot of people suffers from allergies and sore throat and recurrent colds and cough here. I think we can get started. We are already 5 minutes over.
Mm.
Let me share my screen. Important string function. Did I cover this in last session? No, I believe, right? I think I was
No.
about to start these. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
So, as I already told you, right, there is a difference between function and methods, right? So functions are basically the reusable code which is used in functional and functional programming basically, and method concept comes into the picture when we have the concept of classes and object, right? So method are reusable code that belongs to class, and function is a reusable code that basically works standalone, and I mean it is outside the class basically. So there are some string functions and there are some string method. People call them interchangeably as string functions or string method, but there is a slight difference, right? So these string functions, whatever string functions are there, these functions are something that operates around a string or character. So for example, len function, if I'm talking, so it basically operates on a string, let's say s. Whereas method में क्या होता है? There is a string s, then you basically use something like um, s dot capitalize. So what is happening here is that here s is basically it is basically the reference variable, right? So if you know the concept of classes and object, or if you are aware about the OOPS concept, so any method that is there in a class, so first you create the object of that class, and then the reference variable pointing to that object. Using that, you basically access that particular method, right? So that is the difference. If you want to, if you are not sure whether it's a function or it's a method, so this is the way by which you can recognize it. So in methods, you will be basically using the reference variable, which is a string variable in that case, and then dot and then some method name. Whereas in string function, you will be basically passing the string, variable as a parameter in that function. So that's the difference. So let's see these, important string function.
Are you sharing your screen?
Yeah, yeah, I'm sharing. I'm not able to see.
Uh,
No,
Actually not.
others.
Yeah, I can see. Yeah, I can see your
uh,
screen.
Can you share it
yeah,
again? I can't
yeah,
see.
1 second. Let me know once you can see.
Yeah, now I can see.
Okay, so let's see these functions one by one now. Yeah.
Hmm.
So let's say I have a string s Python. Okay. So the first function is len function. So len of s I have to give. So it will basically print the number of characters in that string. So if I'll run it, it will print me 6. And if I have some spaces also in the string, that will be also included in the len. So it will be 8 now. So len function is basically used to print the length of the string. Now you can see here, as I told, right? So string variable s is basically passed as a parameter of this particular reusable code or function, I would say. So in function, the string variable is passed as a parameter, whereas in method, it is called using s dot something. Cool. Second function is ORD function. So ORD function basically, this is basically used to give the Unicode representation of any character. So we call it as a code point of a character. For example, I want to know the code point of a character A. So there is some numerical value which basically defines the code point. So if I'll run this, it will give the code point as 97. Okay, let code points in Python, if I'll search. So this is the table which represent the code points, right? So either pay, if you'll see 97, okay, this is the character A whose code point is 97. So this is the code point. Basically, every character is represented by a numerical number, which is known as a code point. So that is what ORD function basically represent. If you'll try to give, instead of a character, if you'll try to give more than one character, let's say A, B, I'll give. In that case, when I'll run it, it will give the error type error. So here in ORD function, you can just give the single character. Okay, cool. Now we have CHR function. So CHR function is opposite of ORD. So ORD gives the Unicode representation or the numerical representation of a character, and CHR basically gives the corresponding character from the numerical number or the code point. For example, if I'll give CHR, and inside CHR function, I'll give 98 basically. So it will give the character whose code point is 98. Okay. If I run it now, it is giving me B, right? So A ka 97 tha, B ka it is 98. So this is the CHR function. Now we have min max function, right? So let's say min max, what does it do? It will basically, let me take the example of max here. So if I'll do max of S, so there will be many characters in this string which will have the corresponding code point value. So max function will give the character with the highest code point. So if I'll run this, see Y is having the highest code point in this particular string. If I'll go to that table, let's open this table. So Y is having the highest, code point, which is 121. Right? So this is about max, and then min is opposite. It will give the character with the minimum or the lowest code point. If I run it, so the minimum code point of any character which is there in this string is a space. So space ka it is the minimum. Let's say if I'll remove all the spaces from here and now I'll run it. So out of all these character, H is having the minimum code point. Now we have one more function known as list function, right? So list, what does it do? It will basically break this string into the respective character, and it will return the list of those characters. So if I'll run this, it will return the list which contains the element as the respective characters. Similarly, we have set also. So set basically return the set. It is representing set. Now, if I have duplicate elements, let's say like this, if I'll run it, so for O, it will just, convert only one character in the resulting set. Whereas list may, if instead of set, if I'll be using list, so each of the character will be repeated because list can contain duplicate characters or duplicate elements, right? But set does not. And then we have tuple also. Tuple is one of the function. If I run it, it will convert into the tuple of characters, right? So these are the important string functions. Now, let's move on to important string methods. So first method is count and index. So what does count and index method do? Uh, let's see that. Yeah. So if I'll go here and I'll use the method count. Now, as count is a method, so I'll be needing string variable or string reference variable to access it, right? So I'll do s dot count, and I want to count that how many characters or how many O are present in this string. So if I'll run this program, it will give the value as 4 because there are 4 O's, right? Now, basically, if I'm talking about count, so number of parameters basically which you can pass here or uh, number of arguments. So it can have 0 argument, which is not possible here. We can have 1 argument, we can have 2 argument, and we can have 3 arguments. So 1, 2, and 3 arguments are possible when we are using this count method. And in this case, you can see we have seen the case where we are using 1 argument, right? 0, it is not possible. So now let's see number of arguments when it becomes 2 and 3. Yeah. And before that, I'll just show you that 0, if I'll provide 0 argument, it will give type error. Now let's see uh, how can I use 2 arguments here. So for using 2 arguments, let's say I'm using 0 and then 0, 1, 2, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I am giving 5 as the second argument. So index basically starts from 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So that it is telling that starting from index 5, tell me how many times O is appearing. So if I'll run this, how many times it should appear? If I'll run this, it will say 3 times because this is fifth index. So it will consider this particular string basically for this calculation, right? Mhm. So in this particular string, O appears 3 times, hence the output is 3. Now we can have, what do you say? We can have 2 parameter or 2 arguments also. So let's say third parameter or third argument which I'm giving here is 7. Now what it is telling, so 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now it has to basically find the total O in this particular substring where we have seen, right, end index that we gave, it is excluded basically, right? So I would say instead of this, it will try to find out in this particular substring how many times O is appearing. So if I'll run this, the output should be 2. It is 2, right? So this is how the count method works. It can accept 1 argument, 2 argument, and 3 argument. Now let's see the index method. So what does index method do? Again, index is a method, so I'll use reference variable s, and then in order to access, I'll use s dot index. Now I want to see the index of the character O basically. Now in this case, there are multiple O, right? But this will return the first occurrence of O in this particular string. So which is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So O is appearing first time on fourth index. Hence, when I'll run this program, the output should be 4. The output is 4. Now again, as we have seen in the case of count, index can also have uh, 1 argument, 2 argument, and 3 argument. So if I'll give 4 here, so this will become the starting index, and if I'll run it, okay, from starting index 4, it will try to find the index of the first occurrence. So anyway, this is the acceptable range in which it has to check. So still the output will be 4 because I'm calculating from the fourth index itself. Now instead of fourth index, let me give sixth index. So when I'll give the starting index as 6 and when I'll run it, so it will give the output as 6 because this is the acceptable range, or this is the substring in which it has to check the first occurrence of O. So first occurrence of O is this particular O, which resides on index 6. Hence the output is 6. Now again, we can have the end index also. So end index may, okay, instead of start index, let me give the start index as let's say 1, and then end index as 5, right? So what it will do, 1, 2, 3, 4, it will consider this substring and then it will find the index of O in this substring. So it may be the first occurrence of O is happening at index 4. So it will return the output as 4 only. So this is how the index and index and count method works. Now let's see next set of methods, string methods, which are basically related to casing. So we have swap case, upper, lower, capitalized, title, and centers. Let's see these methods one by one. So these are the methods. So I'll use s dot. The first method is swap case. So swap case, what it will do, it will swap the uppercase into lowercase and lowercase into uppercase. Let's say this is my character, this is my string. So when I'll run it, it has changed the upper cases into lower cases and lower cases into upper cases, which is the swapping of the cases, right? And if I'll do print s after that, what it is printing? It is basically printing the original string, right? So when I'm using this method on these string, it'll not change the value of the original string, right? I mean, a very important point to remember. The original string, when you'll print, it will still be the same, which you have defined it earlier, right? This is a new string object that it will create. Cool. The next method is upper, right? So s dot upper will basically change the casing of every character into uppercase. So when I'll run it, it will print the output in all the upper cases. Lower is opposite. Lower, what it will do, lower will just change the casing into the lower case. All will be printed into lower case. Now the next one is capitalize method. So what does capitalize method do? So capitalize method basically it will capitalize the first character. Okay, first let me run this. So anyways, so this is, let me write, this is Python. What it will do, it will capitalize the first character itself, just the first character. So when I'll run this program, you can see it is capitalizing the first character only. Now, if first character is, if you are starting your with a space, if you're starting your string with a space, and when you run your program now, nothing will happen. It cannot capitalize the space. It will just capitalize the first character only if that character is a alphabet. If first character is number, then also nothing will happen. So it basically capitalizes the first character. Now,
Alphabet.
next one is title method. So title method क्या करेगा? It will capitalize the first character of every individual word. So T को it will capitalize, I को it will capitalize, and P को it will capitalize. So when I'll run this, the output will be, this is Python with first character, every first character of individual word in capitalized format. Right. So this is about some of these methods, string method, which involves which involve casing. Now there is a string, there is a center method. So center method I won't cover in this video because otherwise it will take a lot of time. What you can do, I have a video on center, a very detailed video on center method on my YouTube channel. So you can go and you can watch that video. It will take some time to explain that, so I don't want to spend that much time there. So you can go and view my channel, and on my channel, let me show you. इसमें if you go Python level 2 DS, okay, pattern. So this particular video you can refer where I have explained the center method. So yeah, I mean, just a homework for you guys. So you can refer this video to understand the center method. Now next set of string methods are ends with, starts with, is elnum, is alpha, is digit, is lower, is upper, is space. Now the return type of all of these methods is a Boolean value, either true or either false. Okay, let's see these methods now. Now we will start with ends with method. So print s dot ends with, and I want to see whether my string s basically ends with the character n. If I'll run this, it will return true because my string is ending with n. Now instead of n, I can have more than one character also. Let's say thon if I'm giving. If I'll run this, again it will print true because thon as a separate combination of character is appearing, which is basically the ending sequence in this particular string. Hence, it is printing true. Now, instead of thon, if I'll just give tho, now in this case, it will return false. So basically ends with, checks whether a particular string ends with a particular character or a sequence of character. Now, starts with is opposite. Starts with check whether the string starts with a particular character or particular sequence of characters. So if I'll write starts with ph, it will return true because my string is starting with the character th here, right? Next one is elnum. So what is elnum? So is elnum method basically checks if it contains alphabet plus number. either alphabet or number or both, but it should not contain a special character. So if I'll write down is elnum, and if I'll run this, okay, it is printing false. If I'll remove the spaces from here, now it is returning me true. So it is basically checking whether it is containing only alphabets or and number. If this contains just numbers, it is again returning me true. And this is Python. And if it is containing alphabet plus number both, then also it is returning me true. But as soon as I'll introduce any special character, let's say at the rate I have introduced, in that case, it will return false. Instead of at the rate, if I'll give space, then also it will return false. So is elnum checks for alphabet plus number, either or both of them. Next is is alpha. So is alpha basically checks whether a string contains only alphabets, nothing else. So this particular string basically contains number also. So when I'll run it, it will return false. But if I'll remove these numbers, and if I'll run it now, it will print true. Again, here it cannot contain a space, false, or any special character also it cannot contain. Otherwise, it will return false. Next is digit. Is digit basically checks whether all the characters are digits. So anyways, if I run this particular program, it will return false. But let's say we have combination of number and digit, then also it will return false. It will return only true when it contains just the numbers. See that? Right? So these are about is elnum, is alpha, is digit method. So how many methods we have seen so far? Ends where starts with is elnum, is these many we have seen, right? Now next method or next set of methods we'll see is lower, is upper, and is space. Let's see these methods. So is lower, let's say this is Python. And s dot is lower if I use, so it will check whether all the characters in the string are in lowercase. If they are in lowercase, it will return true. If any of the character is in uppercase, and if I'll run it now, this should return me false. So it basically checks for all lowercase. Now a tricky situation, right? Let's say if my string contains just these spaces, what will be the output? Anyone, any guesses? It will return false. Yeah, it is false. So this is the is lower method. Now this is Python agar I am using, and if I'm using instead of is lower, I have one more method known as is upper. So when all the characters in a string are in uppercase, it should return me true, which it is returning. But as soon as there is any, at least even, one character which is in lowercase, it will return false. So this is about is upper method. Now we have one more method, is space method. Any idea what does space do? There are spaces in this string. What happens if I run this program? It is returning me false. So is space when is upper checking for all character in uppercase, is lower checks for all character in upper lowercase, Hence, similarly, is space checks for all character to be the spaces. So when all character of the string are spaces, then only is space will return true. Right? So these are some of the important string methods which we have seen, whose return type is a Boolean value, true or false. Now there are other methods also which you can explore. Is decimal, is ASCII, is numeric, is identifier, is printable. So probably you can explore these methods on your own when you are revising these concepts. Now we have find method, rfind, join, split, replace, strip, lstrip, and rstrip. Now let's see these methods one by one. Let's say we have a string hello world. Fine. Now if I'll do print s dot find find me, I'm giving e, and if I'll run it, it will give the index 1, right? So find is basically same as the index method that we have seen, right? Even the index method basically used to give the index of any, I mean the character that you are providing as an argument, right? The first occurrence of that. The only difference is that find is same as index, but it do not throw any error if index is not found. It returns -1. Right. So let's say instead of E, I am giving some character Z, which is not present here, right? So in this case, when I'll run the program, it will return me -1, which represent that this particular character is not present in this particular string. Whereas in place of find, if I would have used index and the character is not present, then it would have returned me value error, right? So this is the difference between index and find methods. Again, find method can also, accepts argument, 1 argument, 2 argument, or 3 arguments, like index method accepts, right? And the same same concept apply here also. In case of 3 arguments, when I provide, then the second and third argument basically represents the start and the end index in which we have to find a particular character, right? Now let's see the rfind. What does rfind do? So rfind basically finds the last occurrence, right? Before that, let's say if I give 0 here, so what should be the output? If I run this, the output is 4 because 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. This particular O is at index 4. Hence the output is 4. But now let's say I want to find the last index, I mean the last occurrence and the index of that particular character. So I'll do rfind. Rfind means find from right hand side. So instead of finding from this side, now it will find from this particular side. So it should return 4, 5, 6, 7 should be the output because it will basically find from this right hand side. So the 7 is the output for rfind. So this is the difference between find and rfind. So find is basically kind of lfind, but there is no direct method as lfind. If I'll use lfind, there is no method as lfind. So find is implicitly like lfind. That means finding from left hand side, and then we have an explicit method known as rfind, which is finding from the right hand side. Cool. The next method which we want to see now is the join method. So join method, what does it basically do? Let's see that now. So let's say we have a list, L list as hi, hello, Python. We have a list of 3 elements, hi, hello, and Python. Now, join, what does it do? It will join all the elements of this particular list, and it will basically, return me the final string which forms. For that, I have to use a delimiter, delim, and let's say a delimiter mein I'm giving @ character or @ symbol. Yeah. Now, how will uh, this particular method work? So I'll do print delimiter dot join L. What it will do basically is that it will join all these elements, and it will put while joining these elements. So when I'll run this, the output should be hi @hello @Python. So as you can see here, delimiter is kind of a string, right? It is a string, right? So again, join is a method because I am using a string variable or a string and then doing dot, right? So the methods we call using the string reference variable, right? As dot something is a method. So here, this is also kind of a string. So that's why we can call join as a method. Instead of using delim, I can, directly use, let's say 987. If I'll use this again, it will join the elements of the list with 987 in between. 987, 987. So uh, this is how the join method works. Now, instead of, so you can see here, this can be applicable for set, dictionary, tuple also. But in case, let's say, any of these sequence type or collection type is having any element other than a string type, let's say 98 I'm giving, which is of numeric type. Now, when I'll run this, it will give error, type error, because it is basically expecting that each of the element which I'm using in the join method should be of a string data type. So when you are using um, join method, just make sure that it basically contains the string data type. Now let's see what happens when instead of list, I'm using a dictionary. What does it do? So it will basically just consider the keys while joining. You got it? Why it is coming like this? So instead of 987, let me give @ here. So it has joined all the keys A, B, and C with the delimiter @. So this is the join method. Now next method is split method. So split is something opposite of join. For example, I have hi, hello, Python as a string, and I want to split this A dot split if I'll give, and split if I'm not giving any argument, by default it will take space here. So what it will do, it will basically split around these spaces and return the list. Final output will be list splitted using the by default space. Now, instead of this default thing, I can provide, let's say there is a @ symbol here. And instead of, so when I'll split now, the output will be hi @hello and then Python, 2 elements, right? But now instead of, default space, I provide @. So now it will split around @. So first element will be hi and the second element will be hello space Python. So when I'll run this will be the output. So this is about this split method. Next method is replace method. So replace method is basically used to replace a particular character with some other character. So let's say I want to replace all the H with J. So all the H in this string will be replaced by J. So when I run this, it has replaced all the H's with J's in this particular string. So this is about the replace method. Now, next set of methods are strip, lstrip, and rstrip. What are those? So let's see what is strip method. A.strip. If I am doing, what it will do, it will basically removes all the spaces from left hand side and right hand side of the string. So this is left hand side. If there are trailing spaces, sorry, leading spaces, or if there are, spaces at the end, so it will remove each and every space at the starting and end of the string. So when I'll run this program, it will print the output with the removed space. It will not remove from in between, just in the starting and in the ending. Now, so default character to strip is a space. I can have default character as any particular, specific character also. Say H. If I'll run this, so there are no H in the starting, right? If I will have, okay, there was one H, but those H should be coming in continuation. So if I'll do like this, then it will remove all these H's. But if H is tied up with any particular character, okay, then also it is removing. Why this particular thing was not happening? Because the starting of this string is a space. It looks like, if you'll see that, okay, the first character is H here, but no, it is not. The first character, the initial characters are spaces here. So that is why when you ran this program, it was still showing H in the starting. So this is about strip with character, with default character and with a specific character. Now we have lstrip and rstrip. Let's say HHH, hi, and then at the end also I have HHH. And if I'm using lstrip, so what it will do, it will remove all the H's from left hand side. L means left hand side. And if I'll run this program, it has removed all these, HHH from the left hand side, but on the right hand side, it did not remove. So this is lstrip. Rstrip is opposite. It will remove all the HHH from right hand side. From left hand side, it will not remove. If I'll run this program, you can see in the left hand side, we can still see all these H's. But on the right hand side, it has trimmed down or stripped off all the H. Cool. So this is about string method. So we are done with the string now. Okay, so you guys, what we can do is we will have quiz on mentimeter.com. Then we'll have some break and then we'll start Python list. Yeah. So everyone, can you please open your mobile and can you please open the menti.com? Okay, before that, let me share the code of today's Menti. Open menti.com in your mobile and code for today's quiz is 13527138. So I'm starting this quiz. Please be ready. Okay, I can see only one player. Two players are ready now. Three players, five players. We have around seven players, right? Okay, we have five players ready. One is missing, I believe. Any one of the players is missing. If you can, I mean, the missing player, can you please join? I'll just wait for another minute and then we can get started. Okay. One player is missing, I believe. Cool. I think let's get started now. I'm starting the quiz. Focus on the screen. Okay, what is the output of this print statement? Okay, nice. So every one of you answered it correctly. The output is T. Let's go to the leaderboard and see who is leading, who has answered it fastest. Okay, Vedansh has, answered it fastest. Cool. Now let's go to the next question. Okay, five players are ready. Let me start the quiz. Okay, what's the output of this particular print statement? Okay, everyone has voted. The correct answer is it will basically reverse the string. And three single quotes, as you know, right? We can define the string in three single quotes also, so there should not be any error. And this slice method, uh, this is a valid method, right? Let's go to the leaderboard. Let's see who is leading. Okay, again here, Vedansh has answered fastest. Let's go to the next question. What's the output of this particular print statement? Tricky one. Okay, no one has answered correctly. Yeah, the answer is value error because slice step you cannot, it cannot be zero, right? It can be either positive or it can be either negative. It cannot be zero, right? We have seen in our last lecture. Okay, now going to the leaderboard, it remains same. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next question. Four players are ready. One dropped off or what? Can you please rejoin whoever dropped off? Okay. Now let me start it. Okay, which one of these is not correct for strings? So the correct answer is default value for slice step is -1, which is a false statement because the default value of slice step is always 1. And strings are immutable. Immutable means not mutable, which is correct. Strings are ordered, which is again correct. And strings support negative indexing also, right? This is also correct. Now let's go to the leaderboard and see who answered it correctly. Sarthak and Vedansh. Okay, Vedansh is leading, Sarthak second, Deepansh third. Now let's go to the next slide. Okay, here is the next question. Which operators are not allowed in strings? Okay, so the answer is bitwise operator is not allowed on strings, right? We have seen in our last lecture. Let's see the leaderboard. Okay, Sarthak and player. I don't know who is the player. Okay, so Sarthak is leading now, Vedansh second, Deepansh third. Now let's go to the last question. So anyone who is, I mean, the ranker 1, 2, 3, this is the last question. Answer it fastest and correctly, and your ranking may get improved. Yeah. So I'm starting the quiz now. What's the output of this expression? Okay, the correct answer is PTO. Okay. Only one person has answered it correctly. Let's go to the leaderboard. Kumar has answered it correctly. Okay, so the leaderboard, I mean, the final winner in this quiz is Sarthak with 2,830 points. Cool. I think, yeah, we are done with the Python string. Now we will take a 10-minute break and then we'll resume it after it. Yeah. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, we'll start with Python list now. So let's see what we are going to cover in Python list. Okay, so Python list में we will see the CRUD operation, right? CRUD में क्या है? First of all, we'll see how to create string list, then how to retrieve, how to update, and how to delete. Retrieve में we have basically again same concept of indexing and the
Are you sharing
concept
your
of
screen? Hello?
slicing. Yes, I am sharing.
I can't see
Others
again.
can see, others can see my screen.
Yeah.
Let me share and share again.
Hmm. Yes, it's visible now.
ठीक है. Then what we will see in update में we will see updating at particular index. Cool. Then updating basically the multiple values. What next? Updating at the end of the list. And then you will see in between list. And delete may basically we'll see deleting at a particular index. Then we will see how to delete complete list. Then removing a specific item from the list. And then removing a specific item at particular index. Yeah. And then, we will also see how do we empty the string, empty the current, all everything basically, just emptying this list. Now, apart from CRUD operations, we do have what do you say, copying the list, and then joining also is there, joining the list. And then at last, we will see list functions and then list methods. Okay. So let's start with Python list. First, we are seeing the creation of the list. But before that, let's basically see what is Python list. So Python list is, it's the collection of similar or different data types. Okay. And it is ordered. So ordered means the elements that you basically store in list are in a particular order. That if you are basically adding any element in a list, it will be added in a particular order only, not randomly. It is changeable. Changeable means mutable. So strings were immutable, list is mutable. It allows duplicate value and List variables are reference variable that we have already seen. Every variable that we define in Python are reference variable. That means any change in list will change the list everywhere. Yeah, that we will see. Okay. Now let's see how do we create the lists. Python list. So list we create or we define using these box brackets, and inside this you can have the values. Now here the list that you are seeing, this is basically the collection of similar data type, right? But list can also be the collection of similar as well as different data types also. What I mean by that is, so right now all the elements in this particular list are string. Instead of just a string, I can have other data types also, like this. And if I will, print this list, it should print me the value or the list itself. So list is basically a collection of similar or different data type. Now again, list is basically indexed, right? Retrieval R part I'm talking. So R part, retrieval part I'm talking. So like string, Python string, list are also indexed. So that means that the first element is at 0th index, second at 1, then this is 2, 3, 4, and 5. So if I'll print, let's say, the element at index 2, it'll print me Python because Python is at second index. Again, here also, the slicing rule applies, like we have seen in the string, right? What was the slicing syntax? So let's say I have a list, then X, Y, and Z, where X represent the starting index, Y represent the ending index, and Z represent the step. Yeah, means, I mean, this particular, slicing thing, every concept is same as we have seen in this string, lectures. That means if this is not defined, then the default value is 0. If this is not defined, then the default value is the length of the list. And if Z, which is slice step, not defined, then the default value is 1 for that. Okay. So let's say I want to have, I'm giving 2 as the starting index, 0, 1, 2. This is the starting index till 4, 3, 4. That means it will consider these two items. So when I'll run this program, the output should be Python and 23. Yeah. And if you want to reverse the string, so it is again same as reversing the, if you want to reverse the list, it is same like reversing the string. When I do this, it will basically reverse the list. The first element becomes the last element and the last element becomes the first element and so on. Now, this is about the list indexing and list slicing, which is same as that of string slicing and string indexing. Now let's see how do we update the values, list values. As we have seen, right? Updating the list values, string values was not possible because strings are, immutable. But we can basically update the list values at a particular index. In string, it was not possible. So let's say I want to update the list value at a particular index. For example, list second index 0, 1, 2. Instead of Python, I am replacing it with a value 10. And when I will print it, it will replace the Python with the value 10. So this is about replacing the value at a particular index. Any questions so far? Any doubt? Any questions?
No, not good.
Second is replacing multiple values. So replacing multiple values means, let's say from first index till third index, I want to replace these three values. So what will be the starting index for me? Starting index will be 1 and ending index will be 4. Because fourth is this index. Before that, I want to update. So I want to update these three values. So this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So end index I'll give as 4. Now these are the resulting, sliced list contains three elements, 1, 2, 3. So I will give the replaced value as a list of three elements. Let's say I want to give 1, 2, 3 as the replaced value. And when I'll run this program, it will replace these 1, 2, 3. Instead of hello Python 23, this got replaced. Cool. So this is about replacing multiple values. Now, I want to, let's say, update the value at the end of the list. Right? So what do I do? For that, I have a append method. List dot append. Append means it will. So this list is a dynamic, right? So you can keep on adding the elements in that list. So list dot append, what it will do, it will append at the end of the list. Let's say I am giving 4 here. So print before appending, the length of this list is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 characters. So the length is 6. And I have appended the value 4. So you can see the 4 is appended at the end. Here it is appended. And then after that, if I'll print again the size of the list, from 6, it will become 7 now. You can see it is becoming 7. And it has appended the value also. So this is how we update the list at the end, or we keep on growing the list dynamically. Now we'll see how do we update the values in between the list. So in between the list, it is like, at a particular index that we have seen, right? So it's kind of the same thing. No, it's not a same thing. Yeah, I want to show you the difference first. Let's say previously we have seen that I have used this particular, list method where list, let's say at index 0, 1 index, I am inserting 1. So यहाँ पे 1 basically got added. So this is what? This is like replacing, right? This is replacing a value. Now I'm talking about adding a value between, any element. So what will happen adding the value may, how I will do basically is that I will use list dot insert method and at index 1, I want to insert a new value. Let's call it as new value. And when I'll run it, it has added a new value here and the size of the string shifted. So after adding this new value, the size becomes 7. So at particular index that we have seen before, it was like replacing the value. This is adding a new value and the size of the list changes. Right. So this is about updating the values. So we have seen okay. Create part we have seen. We have seen indexing, we have seen slicing, update, we have seen, right? At particular index, multiple values at the end of the list, in between lists, right? Now let's see delete, deleting elements or deleting the list. First one is at particular index. How do we basically delete any element at a particular index? So if I'll use list dot, this is not dot, so we will use the keyword del. And let's say if I want to delete the element at index 1 here. If I'll run this, see before deleting the list was that. And when I ran this, it deleted this particular element at index 1 and the final list becomes this. The size changes here, right? So this is deleting a particular element at a particular index. Now, we'll see how do we delete a complete list itself. So instead of this, if I'll give this, and if I'll run this now, it is just giving or printing me the list which remains here. Because after deleting this, everything got deleted, these elements, everything got deleted. So printing the list will basically just print the empty list with a return type of that particular data type of that particular list. So this is an empty list. So every element got deleted here. Now the third part is removing a specific item from the list. Now in order to see how do we delete a specific item from the list? For that, we use remove method. So list dot remove. Let's say I want to remove a particular element. Let's say I want to remove high. So what I'm giving here is that I will give the exact element that I want to delete. Exact element to be deleted is what I'll provide here. So it will delete this item and it will, in the resulting list, when I'm printing, it will print this. So when I'll run this, output is hello Python 23 true 4 3 4 4. So this is about removing a specific item. Now there can be any item which I want to delete which is not present in the list. Let's see what happens in that case. Let's say instead of hi, I give Java here. So Java is not present in this list. So when I'll run this program, it will throw value error saying that X, this particular X that you are trying to remove is not in the list. So value error will come. So this is about removing a specific item from the list. Now let's see how do we remove last item or a specific item at at any index, right? Let's see first removing a specific item. Okay, sorry, 1 second. I think removing a specific item at particular index. There is one more. Okay, removing last item is missed here. Let me add removing last item from list. Okay, we'll see this now. Removing, how do we remove last item from the list? Okay, so I have a list here and I want to remove the last item. Then how will I do? I will just use list.pop method. So pop will pop the last item, which is this one. So when I'll run this program, it will print the resultant list after popping the last item. Now, if I want to delete at a particular index, sorry, if I want to pop a specific item at any index, how will I do? Let's say if I want to pop at index number 2. When I'll run this, the Python which was there, the Python as an element at second index gets removed. Now, okay, so what is the difference between remove and pop? So remove may list.remove when I do, and let's say यहाँ पे मैं instead of 23 let it be 2. So what is the difference between these two? So here in remove, this is the exact element to be deleted, ठीक है? And pop में this is the index at which you want to delete the item. So this is index. So pop में you provide the index, and remove में you provide the exact element, right? So इसको मैं comment, if I'll comment this out and if I run this program, it will basically remove Python from here. And if I'll, use remove here, so it will remove the element 2 if it is present, otherwise error. See, it has removed 2. So this is the difference between pop and remove. So that's what this particular removing a specific item at a particular index. Now we'll see the last case where we want to empty the string. So if a string is there and if I want to empty the string, I'm keep on repeating is string instead of list. Okay, my bad. Okay, we'll see how do we empty the list. So for emptying the list, we will use the list method clear. So list.clear if I'll use, it will basically clear the list and it will, when I run the program, it will output the empty list, and empty list is basically represented by a box, open box bracket and close box bracket. That's it. Yeah. So this is how I clear the list. And if I'll try to see the length of the string, length of this particular list, it will show 0 as the length because this is an empty list now. Yeah. Okay. So this is about the CRUD operation on list, basically, that we have seen today. Now the next thing is, next thing that we'll be seeing is the copying the list and joining the lists. Let's see copying a list. So let's say we have a list one. List one is this particular list. And I am defining one more list, list two equal to list one. So what happens is that in this case, let me print down each of these lists. List one and list two. When I'll run this, it will print same lists. So this is basically creating the copy. So what is happening in this case? I have this list one, right, with all the elements, hi, hello. So this is the list that I have, which was referred with the reference variable list one. Now when I copied this, so again one more reference variable list two will be created, which will again point to the same list object. Now what happens in this case? Both of these list reference variable are pointing to same object. So any changes that I will do in this particular list, any changes, it will reflect in both of these lists. Let's see that. So let's say that I am doing list one dot pop. What it will do? It will pop or remove this last element. Now you might, uh, you know, think that I'm using just list one, as a list one variable. Using list one variable, I'm doing the popping. So it will just remove from the list one. But when I'll run this program, you can see it got removed from both of these lists because list one and list two are the reference variable pointing to the same object. And when we have done some changes in that particular object, it gets reflected in both of these two lists. So it basically creates the dependent copy. Right now, let's see how do we create independent copy, where when I'll, do when I'll create a copy and when I'll do the changes in one list, it should not get reflected in another list. Let's see how do we do that. So for that, we will be using a method known as copy method. Now in this case, what is happening? So I have one list one variable, which is pointing to this object. When I'm using this dot copy method, it will create another object and list two variable will be pointing to this object. So when I'll do any changes in this particular list, it will not get reflected here. Or if I'll do the changes in this list, it will not get reflected here. Let's see how. Yeah. So here I'm doing list one dot pop. And when I'll run this program, you can see it has popped out the element from the first list only. And second list, it is still intact. So this is, how we create dependent and independent copy. Let me add dependent copy and independent copy. Cool. So we have seen both of these, type of copy, list copy that we want to create. Now there is another way of creating the independent copy. So instead of list dot copy, list one dot copy, what we can do, we can use the list function, and instead inside this I can give list one. Again, it will, this way also we can create the independent copy. So if I run the program, the same thing, the same output will be there, where when I'm doing some changes in list one, it is not reflected into list two and vice versa. So this is about copying the lists. Now, joining two list. So there are, let's say there are two lists. List 2 is 1, 2, 3. And I want to join these two lists. That means I want to create another list, list 3, and I'm joining this. So it will create another list 3, which will be the concatenation of these two lists, and it will join these two lists. You see this? The resultant list 3 basically is the joint copy or the joint string, joint list of list 1 and list 2 elements. This is the first way. So what is the first way that we have seen? Concatenation using concatenation. Second way, which we will see on how to join a join to list, will be using extend method. And then third will be using repetition. Repetition that we have seen in strings also, right? Is a repetition using the asterisk symbol. Now let's see the second method or second way where we will be joining two list. So for that, I will do list 1 dot extend list 2. So what it will do is basically it will extend list 1. So when I'll print list 1 and list 2, what will happen? Okay. List dot extend takes exactly one argument.
List one dot extend, I guess.
Yeah, list 1, sorry, correct. So if I'll run it now, so list 1 has the extended copy or the joint copy. Joint, I mean, it basically joint list 1 as well as list 2, and then list 1 is appended here, and list 2 remains same. So this is how we join to list using extend method. Now we have repetition. How do we do the repetition, right? So let's say repetition में I'm having, इसको मैं remove कर देता हूँ, let me comment this out, and I have list 2. I want to create one more list 3, which is equal to list 2 3 times. So what it basically do, it will 1 2 3 comma 1 2 3 comma 1 2 3 3 times it will repeat the elements. And if I'll print list 3, the output will be, see, 1 2 3 1 2 3 and 1 2 3 3 times. So this is how I basically the joining of two list happens. Okay. So we have seen joining, copying of list, CRUD operation. We have seen. Now coming to the list functions and list methods. So talking about list function. So again, this concept is same, right? Functions and method. Function basically when you are using list functions. So list will be provided as a parameter or as an argument within that particular function. But when you talk about method, then you will be using the list, list variable name dot that particular method name. So some of the functions I will talk quickly. So list function first is the len function, right? Which we already seen. So let's say if I have this particular list and first function is len function. So len basically gives the length of the string. It will print out 5, which is length. Then we have max. It will give the maximum, the highest element in this particular list. Let's say if I have a collection of different data set, different data types, then what will happen? It will throw error, type error, right? So max के लिए every element should be of similar data type. Then min basically will do the opposite of max. It will basically give you the minimum element or the smallest element in that list. Then we have sum method also. Sum will basically sum this particular add up all these elements. So 9, 12, 14, 15 should be the answer. 15 is the answer. And if I have, let's say, uh, hi, hello. And if I try to use this arithmetic operators here, it will throw error, type error. It will not concatenate these, variables. So just remember that, yeah. Then we have sorted list. Okay. So sorted list, what basically it basically do is that it will basically sort the list. Sort the list means, let's say I am giving it randomly some values and I am using sorted here. So it will sort the list in the ascending order by default. If I want to sort this particular list in the descending order, so I will provide the second parameter or second argument as reverse, and I'll give it as true. Means reverse true means, so whatever is the default sorting type, which is ascending order, I want to reverse that sorting types. So do I want to reverse that sorting type, which is there present by default? Yes, I want to do that. So that is why I'm providing true value. So when I run this program, it will sort in descending order. So this is about sorted functions. Okay.
So this reverse also takes false with it. So it will be just
It will be
sorted.
just default value. Giving reverse equal to false or not
Mhm.
giving reverse at all do the same thing. Let's see
Same
that.
thing.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah.
Now there is one more method. So this sorted is a function. There is a method, sort method, which we will see in some time, which basically do something similar. But only difference is that when you are using sorted here, it returns the sorted list and it do not sort the original list. Meaning, इसको let's say I'm using this normal sort here, and after sorting, if I'll print the original list, so original list remains intact. It do not affect the original list basically. So sort and sorted may, the difference is that sorted may, it returns the sorted list and it do not sort the original list, whereas when I use list dot sort, it sorts the original list itself and it do not return anything. We'll see that later on. Or probably let's see that now itself, huh? उसके लिए I'll do list dot sort. List dot sort. And if I do list dot sort, okay, print when I'm doing now, it is not returning anything. So list dot sort do not return anything. So instead of print now, I can give simply like this. And when I'm printing original list, it is returning me the sorted list. It basically mutated this list. Here also I can provide reverse equal to true. Now it will sort the list in the descending order. So this is the difference. Sorted gives a new list. Sort do not gives the new list, but it sorts the original list itself. Okay, going to the next function, any function. What does any function do? So any function basically returns true if any element is true in that. Let's see that. How does it work? Print any list true. What does it mean? As I told you, right? Anything, basically any numeric value, any non-empty string value, list value are considered as true, right? So these are non-empty values which are considered as true values. So hence the output is coming as true. Now let's try to give some values or all the values as false values. So I'm giving false, comma false, and empty string I'm giving, and empty list I'm giving here. Now in this case, when I'll run the program, it is returning me false because if any of the element in this list would be true, it might have returned true. Now let's try to add one element which is true. 2, right? Non-zero values are true. If I'll run it now, it is returning me true. You got this concept? Right?
Can you please explain it again?
Okay. So we have seen previously, right? That let me try to open that slide also. Mm, Python operators. See this. Any string list tuple set dictionary is true except empty ones. So if I have any string, Python, Java, Py, ABC, anything, it will be considered as true as long as there are some value in this. If I have an empty string, it is considered as false. Similarly, same thing applies for list, tuple, set, and dictionary. And any number is true except 0, and none is considered as false. So this is the concept that we are applying here. So uh, in this case, when I have these values, so this is false, correct. This is false, correct. This is a empty string, which is considered as false, and this is an empty list, which is again false. So all the elements in this list are false, right? So when I'm doing any of list, it checks whether any element is true. If even one element is true in this list, it will return true. But there is no element which is true here, right? So when I'm running this, it is printing me false. But as soon as there is at least single element which is true, let's say I'm giving a non-zero number. It can be anything which is non-zero. So this is considered as true. So as soon as I am introducing any number, non-zero number, it will return me true because I have at least one true element in this. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we have another function known as all function. So all function will return true when all the elements are true in this. So right now only one element is true, not all. Hence it is returning false. So let's make all the elements true in this and some value. See, all the elements are true except this one. So again, if I run it, it will again print me false. But as soon as I give, let's say even one element in this list, if I run it, it will return me true because now all the elements are true in this particular list. So these are about the list function. Now we have list methods. So first method is append method, right? Which we have already seen, where we are adding the element item at the end of the list. Extend also we have seen. Insert also we have seen. Remove also, pop, clear, sort, reverse, count. I think we have seen every method, right? So let me write down all these methods. Okay. So when I'm talking about list methods, so append we have seen, right? Extend also we have seen where we are joining two lists, correct? Insert method also we have seen where, we were basically adding in between the list, right? When we are updating the list, correct? This we have seen. Remove also we have seen, remove method. Pop method also we have seen. Clear method we have seen where it basically empties the list, and then when we were, outputting the list, it was giving opening, box bracket and close box bracket, right? We have seen that. Sort also we have seen when I was explaining you the sorted difference between sorted function and sort method. Then I have, explained the sort method also, a sort method to you guys, right? Reverse method, I don't think we have seen. Have we seen reverse method? Okay. We haven't seen reverse method. We haven't seen count method, and we haven't seen index method, right? So let's uh, check these three methods. Everything else we have seen. Let's see what is reverse method. So reverse method, as by name you can suggest, right? It will basically reverse the string. So list dot reverse, when I'll do, it will reverse the original string, and it is not returning me any, anything new. So it basically reverse method reverses the list and then mutates the original list. Basically, it changes the original list itself. Then we have index method. So index method basically tells the index of any particular element in this particular list. For example, I want to see print list dot index. I want to see index of SDS. It should give me the output as 2 because SDS is present at index 2. If I'll give true, so it will give the index of first occurrence of true in this list, which is 0. And if I'll give something which is not present in this, let's say false, it will give value error. If I'll give empty string, we'll see what happens in that case. Again, it is basically looking for a Boolean value false. So value error comes when the index of a particular element which we want to check is not present in that list. Then we have the list method as count. So list.count will tell the number of times. Let's say if I'm giving true here, so number of times true is appearing in this particular list. So when I run it, the output should be 2. If I'll give SDS, the output should be 1. And if I'll give something which is not present in this list, again, the value error should come. Okay, the value error will not come. It'll give 0. Let's check something else. Count of, let's say, number 34 in this. It is giving me 0 because count, 0 is also a count, right? That is why value error is not coming. So 34 is appearing 0 times. So yeah, important point, right? So the count will return 0 when the element is not present. Okay. What else is there? We have seen any, all we have already seen. Okay, I think with this, okay, there is one more thing, membership operator for the list. So membership operator means if I want to see that, as we have seen that already in the operators of Python when we were discussing, but yeah, I just want to repeat that point again. So SDS in list. So what I'm checking here is that whether this particular element SDS is present in the list. If it is present, return me true, otherwise return me false. So it is returning me true. Instead of SDS, if I'm checking any other thing, this will return me false. Cool. So this is about Python list. And we are done with Python list. So from next lecture, I think tomorrow, we'll pick up tuples, set, and dictionary. These three things are remaining from Python level 2. Let's see by tomorrow how much we can, complete. And then if anything is left, we will, take up in the future lectures. So any doubt or anything, any points you want to add, anyone wants to add, any feedback, anything? All good. So is this, is pace okay? Not too fast, not too slow, manageable?
Yeah.
Cool. I think then that's pretty much it. Thank you guys. See you tomorrow.
Yeah. See you tomorrow. Thank you.